Adjust the camera. Oh, what happened? Froze. Oh, there we go. Okay, unfroze. That's a first. Okay. All right. Mwah. Welcome yourself. So let's start with the hands out and we'll just take a big breath and just like expand out. Good. And then as you breathe in, maybe however you want to bring those hands together and circle yourself, bring them in and rest them in front of your sacred heart space. Bow your chin, close your eyes. And take a few moments here to welcome yourself to your practice. As you enter into this next breath, just expanding your energy in some way, feeling it opening your heart, moving out. And release the breath as you invite it in. And then we'll chant Om together 3 times. Inhale to lengthen. Release this breath completely. And inhale fully. Bowing your chin, release your hands to your thighs, lift your chin and open your eyes. Okay, it's good. Let's start with a little bit of this. Just move your wrists around. Yes, and then we're going to take these hands and just cross them over. Give yourself a little bit of this protection, loving mudra. And then open your arms wide as you inhale. Cross them the opposite way. Give yourself a little bit of this, and we're going to turn this into a hug. So just kind of walk your hands around. Whatever you get here, just start to twist a little bit, and even moving one shoulder up and the other, just moving yourself here as, oh, so good to see you. And then come back to center. Yes, as you inhale, sweep your arms up over your head, open up. Good. And then cross these arms the opposite way. And if you're not sure, don't worry too much about it. And we'll just do the same thing. Give yourself a little massage, moving. Yes, this great embrace. Nice. And then we'll inhale and sweep the arms straight up over your head. Open this up, touch the earth, change the position of your legs. And we'll just take a little side bend. So right hand to the floor, left arm up, take it over, and then be here for a moment, like open it, close it, move in some way. I'm going to take this left hand behind my head, and we'll just move the elbow in and out. Just opening these great wings. And then bring it back up, open that arm up to the sky, and then just change sides. And take a moment here to explore. What that means, waving, looking down, looking up, moving the arm. And if your shoulder is happy with the hand behind the head, just take this a few moments. Just moving your elbow up and down, and maybe you're counterbalancing a little bit inside your rib cage, belly. Just noticing. Good. And then on your next inhalation, just sweep the arm up. And exhale, come back to your center. Good, stretch your legs out, wiggle your toes. And we'll change the cross one more time. Think about that. Good. Okay, and then we're just going to move simple twists. So you just take it over to one side. Maybe floss a little bit so the hands stay where they are. We're just removing the rib cage. Good. And then settle into this twist. Turn your head as far as is comfortable. Drop your jaw. Pull your chin in maybe a little bit. Inhale. And exhale, come through center. Just turn your palms up. Pause here for a moment. Take the gaze down to the floor. Good. And now twist the other side. I'm laughing because Sadie's sitting here in front of us, throwing her ball at us. There we go. Okay, and then just start to move a little bit in this twist. If you haven't already. And then settling in. Turn your head, drop the jaw. Lengthen from the inside. Inhale. Exhale and release. Just come to sit for a moment. Good. Okay. All right. I'm just going to get some of the moving out of the way. So we are going to come to standing. I'm going to come through downward facing dog first. If that's interesting. And if it's not in the cards for your wrists or shoulders, you can just keep your knees on the floor and just get longer or rest in child's pose. Okay. So if you're in downward facing dog, just feeling this, moving whatever you need to move. Take one more breath. And side out. Okay, I'm going to start to walk the feet forward or the hands back. We'll come to a wider leg. You don't have to turn, just separate your feet a little wider. Drop into your forward fold and also let it be fluid. If you want to rock the hips side to side or turn the head. Walk your arms out more or bring them in or rest your elbows on your thighs, whatever you feel might be a nourishing place to be for you right now. And I'm just coming to center. As you inhale, you can lift your head, your heart, even if you bend your knees a lot, and exhale and just fold. Okay, come all the way up. We're just going to roll up, so bending the knees a lot. Use your hands however you need to. And then once you come upright, just pause. Notice I was reminded, you feel lightheaded if you take your palm like you have a Slurpee headache. You just kind of push into your third eye. That might be helpful. Okay, we're going to turn to the side, step the feet apart. And we're just going to come right into our strong warriors in a very loving, gentle way. So with your feet wide, turn your right foot out and the left heel back. We'll open the arms or put your hands on your hips. Inhale, and as you exhale, just bend into the knee. Good. I'm going to sweep the arms up, overhead, change the feet, and just move into on the second side. I'm opening my arms. Good. And we'll just do that a few times on each side. So you're just going slow, breathing, you're flowing. Good. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oops. We'll do one more. Good. And then we're going to come to center. Oh, here I go one more time on each side. Go one more time on each side. Strong. And then we'll reach up, turn both feet. As you exhale, hands to your waist, start to fold forward. And we'll just come into a wide-legged forward fold. Place your hands on the earth. And then start to find your little wiggle here. Just turning, moving your hips or bending one knee. Just whatever would feel good. Okay, good. And just coming to center on both feet. And as you exhale, allow yourself to fold down into this wide-legged forward fold. Release your head if you can. Anchor your feet. And if you feel really strong in your legs, oh, my legs are strong, my feet are strong, maybe the arms go out to the side if you're flying. But don't do that if you're backwards. Not happy here. Good. And then hands to the earth. You lifted them. I'm going to step one foot to the other. And then we'll just come to sit down. Good. Okay. So we'll set up for our first pose. I'm going to take the one block and your bolster. And we're going to come into a supported Sphinx pose. Okay. So, and if you want a blanket, you probably don't need one for your head, but I don't know, you can make it softer. Okay, so now I have just this one little block. I'm going to come to lie down. I'm going to see if I can get maybe the pubic bone and hip bones at the end of the bolster. And then you can adjust she's throwing her ball at me. You can adjust the block underneath the chest or see what feels good. Now your head, it might hang and you might rest your forehead on the bolster. If that doesn't happen for you, it's fine. You can keep the head lifted. And then we're going to take the forearms to the floor, just like we do. Okay, now I'm right at the wall, so I'm going to bend my knees. You can do that if you like. So take a moment to just feel, maybe rock a little bit. And then we'll just drop in with the head resting or lifted. And no matter which position the head is in, just pull the chin in a little bit. And find your rest. Okay. And then we're just going to change it a little bit. If you want a little bit more, you're just going to walk the forearms forward. You might even straighten your arms and just have the hands on the floor. Whatever position you're in, just drop into your breath. Let the thighs go, belly rest. Okay, so if this is soothing, then stay. And if you're like, oh, I just want a little bit more fire, you decide. Then maybe the arms are going to lift up off the floor like you're flying and you're just reaching. Even as you rest the head and the chest, thighs. If your arms are lifted, you're gently drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Take one more breath. Release the arms. If you've lifted them, just come back to the restful part of this pose. And for the next 5 breaths, let yourself settle. Okay, so we're not going to completely come out. If your head is resting on the bolster, just start to lift it. Just feel for yourself, back of the head is in line with the back of the spine. And if your back is okay, we're going to bend the knees and we're just going to come to a very gentle windshield wiper, just moving the feet side to side. And then just feeling into the, I'm sliding down the bolster. If you're doing that, it's okay. Just let this be, and you have your front of your hips are maybe not touching anything. Maybe they are. See here. Okay, and then come to rest. For one breath, I just bring the soles of the feet together. And then we're going to press ourselves up to hands and knees. We're going to come to rest in child's pose. If the knees aren't happy in child's pose and you want to stretch the legs out, go ahead. Otherwise, just be here. You have your block can come down more. You can make the bolster higher if you like that. Just find a way to rest the chest. So I just moved the block. It's kind of underneath the chest. Maybe the head will rest, or I'll turn the head to one side. And just take your time. If your hips are not touching your heels, maybe if you bring the bolster up higher, that might help. So you can put the block a higher height. Okay. So we'll just take another few breaths here, just to open. Okay. Last breath in. Breathe it out. Okay. And then you can just come to sit for a few moments, or if downward dog is there, you make it Use the bolster to rest your head if that happens. If it doesn't, it's fine. Don't bend the elbows to compensate for the head. Let the shoulders relax, jaw relax. Okay, and then we'll come back down onto your knees. All right, so we're going to turn around and rest behind the bolster. I'm still going to keep the block here. I'm just going to turn my block actually, so it's this way, and then it will kind of support the head here. Okay, you decide how far away from the bolster you need to be. If you can come and sit behind it, then you get this, it supports the lumbar curve. But if that's not happy for you, you just scooch down. Okay, so here I have the block is supporting my head. You play with that. And then we'll just be here. You can open your arms out. Maybe your wings will come up a little bit higher than the shoulders. But if that feels like too much pulling, just lower them down. Good. Just drop in here. Your legs can be stretched straight. They can be bent. And you could even heel toe the feet and bring the knees together. Just drop in. Just let this little shift in gravity be acknowledged, received. Start to feel your breath. And just feeling how open the breath is in the heart space. Take one more full breath in. And breathe out. And staying as you are, almost reach the arms up to the sky. With the palms facing each other, arms are shoulder distance apart. And then reach up as if you're reaching towards something. And then start to take your arms over your head. And at the same time as you do that, you press your mid belly into the bolster, your heart space, back of your heart. Just keep reaching your arms. One more moment here. And then release your arms all the way down by your sides. Separate the knees apart if they're touching. If your legs are straight, bend them. And we'll just feel your feet on the floor. And we're going to move into just a little baby bridge here. Okay, so feel that the shoulders are dropping, probably not anchored to the floor. You feel your feet. And as you inhale, just start to lift your hips. And they don't need to go super high, but you might take them up where the blanket and the the bolster and the block are helpful. And then exhale and lower down really slow. So you're actually pressing into the bolster and feeling yourself come to the earth. And we'll do that 2 more times. As you inhale, you lift, and maybe you want to take your arms up over your head as you do that. And then lower really slowly, and feel like the lowering is the part you're really focusing on. And last one. Good. And then lowering. This time I'm going to keep my arms over my head as I lower. Just keep extending those arms. And then once your hips or your seat is on the earth, you can bring your arms back down. We'll just pause here. Okay, I'm going to take a little windshield wiper. And just heel toe the feet. Maybe the arms move out a little more. And you're just going to rock side to side, and feeling that the bolster is supporting, massaging, maybe the mid back, depending on how far, where you are on the bolster. We'll just do this a few more times. Let the jaw go. Almost like you're being rocked. Okay, just finishing off whichever side you didn't start on. Going back to rest here. Just pause. then we're going to come off just to sit. So you can roll yourself up or roll to the side. Maybe you just bring your head up first and come up. Okay. And then just take a moment to just sit and kind of feel, okay. All right. So the next one we're going to do is we're going to do the teeter-totter or the seesaw. So I'll put the block in the middle of the bolster. So there, it's pretty loose. Okay. And then here again, you're going to decide. Some of you might want to sit right on the bolster and lie back and just, play with that. And some of you might want to just sit on the floor and roll back and then just, play with the lift of the hips. If your head isn't happy hanging back, you can always interlace your fingers and support it. And just find some rocking motion here. So you're lifting. If your head is happy, dropping back, the arms might go over the head. And, I could keep my head just resting on the bolster or support it. So just find a little bit of, seesaw action. Whatever you're doing here, just nice and gently. Yes. And then find your favorite spot and wherever you are, and let's just hang out there for a moment or two. So just letting my head hang back, arms are open, hips are lifted. Where the block is sitting for me feels really good between the shoulder blades. Wherever you have it, if it feels good, enjoy that. One more moment. Okay, and then we're going to come out. So you might roll yourself up or roll to the side, come up, and then just pause again for a moment. Just feel. Okay. That's nice. Okay. The next one we're going to do is to lie onto the side here. So I'm going to keep the block where it is. That might work really nicely. You're going to see. So you'll just turn to put one hip close to the bolster edge, and then you'll walk yourself out. And you just kind of see. And then, you can always support the head, the hands. If I had more room, I might straighten the legs. And eventually, we take that right arm, the one that's in the bottom, maybe the head comes down, or you put a block or a blanket there if you need extra. And then the left arm can come over the head. Okay, so here's the full pose. I might even take the bottom hand, grab that top wrist, give it a little pull. I love to rock my hips here for a moment or two. Just feel it. So you make this your own, friends, whatever you need to support your head, keep the hand down, that's beautiful. Okay, once you're in it, moving my knees in line with my hips. Just breathe. Notice if you're tucking your chin. That's me. I'm going to open. Two more breaths, and wherever you are, you can release the grip. If you don't want to hold the wrist, just that's fine. It's all happening. Okay, just before we move out of this, start to even play with the breath a little bit. So can you breathe more into this open left side in some way? And then we'll release so the top arm can come back to the floor. You might just roll onto your belly. The hands come down and then press yourself up. And then, it's always nice to just sit and just feel what you've done. It's always interesting. Sometimes when you're in it, you're like, oh, I don't feel much. What's happening? But maybe you can feel that the two sides are a little asymmetrical. And then we'll switch sides. Okay, I'm just going to pop around here. We'll take the other hip. You just kind of find your way very lovingly. Bring yourself in, support what you need, take your time. Eventually, just come down to rest. Bottom arm can hold the top arm, or it can even just dangle. You can do a little bit of moving once you're in. Feel. Okay, I'm just moving my knees now in line with my hips. Straight in. Notice if you're tucking your chin. Breath in. Breathe out. Okay, maybe one more because let's try and bring that breath into the right side. And release yourself. Maybe the chest rolls more to the floor. And we'll press up. And again, just sit, just feel. When you're done. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so our next one is going to be lying down twist over the bolster. I'm just kind of going to move the block. The block might go up here. You might not even use it. Actually, I'm just going to keep it at the top for a moment and just bring a blanket in. And you'll see, you know, that way you have your props there if you need them. So the blanket I'll put at the top just for the head. Okay, so now I have my left hip sitting in front of the bolster. You could do the right one as long as you're keeping track. Okay, so whichever hip you have here, the bolster might move, you see, and take the hands either side. You're gonna do a little flossing first. So with the hands on the floor, I'm just gonna find a twist here. Ooh, just got a nice back. Good, okay, and then you'll turn your chest as much as you can to face the bolster. Lengthen yourself over, lie down, and then you can rest your head. And here's where you wanna put your block underneath your bolster or fold the blanket. Give yourself more support. Okay, so now your arms. You see, maybe they want to kind of rest like in a Sphinx type of position like we did at the very beginning with the forearms on the floor. You can even extend your arms a little bit above, just stretch them out like we did at the very beginning. See how that is? And how you place your arms is going to affect something in the way the breath is received. So play with that. Maybe you prefer them out, one in. Let's take a few moments here to explore. Okay, so now that we've kind of set up the props and the position, we're going to deepen it. So you bring your hands back and lengthen yourself up. As you exhale, twist a little more, and this time maybe your head will turn away from your knees. And then set yourself up the way your arms want to be, your head, your jaw. And then the legs can stay as they are. Or you might open them and take the top leg and just sweep it back a little bit, and the bottom leg can step out. You just can play. Okay. However you are, drop into your rest. Just feel the gentle breeze of your breath, just gently caressing the inner body, these places that are being opened and offered. It's like, you know, this time of year when we open the windows and the fresh air comes in. Just feel here, you're opening the windows. And this way you're gently enjoying that fresh space. You might even notice that over the time you are in this shape, that the breath will even find new places, start to expand a little more with each moment. Notice if you're holding tension any place, and you release it even as you stay in the pose. And you take in your next breath, filling. And let that be a sigh out of your mouth as you exhale. And, drop in more deeply. Stay for 2 or 3 more breaths. And if you want to exhale it out, release something, do it. And just turn the head back for a few moments. Let the neck come back. And moving your hands back and welcoming yourself back up. And here as we come up, you just sit in whatever way. If you need a downward dog, whatever you need here, do that. Just pause into this unwinding. You might not even open your eyes. Okay, and then just rolling yourself to the second side. Good. Okay, take your time. You see your props, okay? Hands on either side, and we'll do a little bit of this flossing first. Just turning your ribs, your head. Just welcoming this side. Turn more of your left side of your chest to the bolster. We'll keep the head the same direction as the knees for a few moments. Maybe placing your hands, your forearms in Sphinx, or wherever they need to be. Just take a few moments to let the breath and the body figure this out. Any time between now and another few breaths, just come back up and then go a little bit deeper if there's space. From here, if you want to turn your head away from your knees, do that. Figure out where you like your arms to be. And then once you've found that, then we'll find the legs. So maybe the top leg will just swing back and the body leg will come out. Whatever expression of this you're in, just receive it as this great opportunity to open yourself in some way, in some place, or even just to encourage the openings. The gentle caress, the breeze of your breath. Soften any tension in your face that might be creeping in. The space between the eyebrows, the jaw. Taking your next 3 breaths here, if that's full breath in and a sigh out. Maybe it's 3 times you do that, or just 1 time, snuggling in a little deeper. And then we'll turn the head back for the next few breaths. Yeah, just coming out of this and just sitting for a few moments. Just feel however you want to sit. Yes. Okay. All right, so we're going to leave this set up. I think this is good. Unless you want to, okay, I'm going to just tell you what pose. We're going to come into a Supta Baddha Konasana. So we're going to lie over the bolster, and then we'll have the soles of the feet together, knees open. So you don't need to have any blocks underneath your bolster, but some of you might like to have more support. It could even be 2 blocks. So I'm just going to show this. You need a block. It could be like that. So you have one for under your heart and one for your head. Or you could have nothing and just your blanket there. But now that I've set this up, I think I'm going to keep it. Okay. And yeah, go ahead and go into it if you're there already. It's nice to support your knees because we're going to be here for, longer than 3 breaths. So I'm going to take these blankets that I have here and just create little equal rolls and just place that underneath, maybe right up to your thighs or the knees. Make them as high as you need them to be so that you're comfortable. And as we're going to be here for a little bit, and this can be a vulnerable position to be in, open heart, open body. So another blanket to cover yourself might be exactly what you need. And take your time. Grab it, one blanket. Okay. And then to support your head, just to feel, so you have the block. If you have the blocks underneath, it's probably happening, but that your forehead is not higher than your chin. If that's happening, then yes. Okay, good. So yeah, there we go. All right. And then dropping in an eye pillow. All of these things. So okay, so you feel your forehead sloping down to your chin. You can pull the chin in. The arms can come down by your sides or out. You can even rest on your tummy. Okay, this feels very delicious for me. Feel free to kind of wiggle yourself in. So you might even lift your hips and then put them back down, and maybe that might be exactly what you need to do. Shoulder blades can come down a little bit. Okay. You might feel the soles of the feet touching, and if they're not touching, exactly, that's fine. Just put your mind there into this transfer of energy that's happening right now. Like we close the circuit. And we're nourishing ourselves with our own loving energy. This is a great pose to also feel any tension that might be even in the forehead, the jaw. You know, open your mouth wide, wiggle your jaw a few times. Now that I've said that, I feel like, the tongue is a muscle. Even letting your tongue come out of your mouth, move it around. Here's another great tongue exercise, is trace your teeth all the way around the fronts and the backs on both top and bottom levels. And you can feel like where the tongue might be struggling a little bit. You could trace your mouth with your tongue for a few moments. That's good for your throat all the way down. And then just letting all of that rest. Feel yourself in this position, open to receive, showering of love that you're offering and is being offered right back. Feel like that love from your heart is just like a shower, just coming up and then cascading back over you, nourishing and creating space for you to expand into dropping your inner gaze, and feeling your eyes are receding into the middle of your skull. With all your powers of awareness turning inwards, melting whatever needs to be released so that you can be in the deepest place of this posture, feeling safe and held and loved and supported by the floor, by your props, and by your intentional awareness. And at this time now, just dropping into the deepest point of relaxation here. And so just before we leave this beautiful, supported, restful pose, I want you to feel where your breath is being received. And just expand into that place where you're opening yourself from the inside out. And just one more full breath in, side out. And we'll just extend the legs out. So without changing the upper part of your torso, just stretch your legs out. They don't have to be right together. And then feel where the breath is being filled now that things have shifted. You can imagine in this, with this awareness that most of the day when you're standing, you're breathing more into the upper body. Okay, we're just going to bring the legs back into Baddha Konasana for one more moment, just so we can feel that breath right into the lower belly. Now that we've felt it, just take maybe 1 or 2, 3 more breaths. If you'd like to stretch your arms over your head, and even interlace the fingers and flip the palms, so that we're lengthening. And a nice big breath in, really nourishing the lower pelvis, pelvic bowl. And then release it. The side, your arms can come back out. This time we're going to bend the knees, place the feet on the floor. If you need to wiggle away from the bolster, do that. We're just going to come back to windshield wiper. We're just rocking your knees side to side. Very gently. And we did it the first time with the bolster underneath in a very different position. Good. And then you're welcome to just roll to the side or bring your head to your chin to your chest and press up either one. And just sit for a moment and just be in that afterglow. Okay. So our next pose is going to be a supported Setu Bandha. I'm going to take one of these blanket rolls and just lay it down. So I'm going to fold it nicer. But it's just going to support the head and the chest. Put it this way, lengthwise. And then, okay, so I take my hands, smooth out any wrinkles. And I'm a big fan of wrinkles. Okay, and then the bolster is going to come down So you're actually going to have your hips and legs on the bolster. And I'll take these 2 blocks and I'm just going to put them on their lowest side, just right at the end. And that's where the feet are going to go, hopefully. Okay, I'm going to take a strap. And just before you even come in, we'll just put a loop in that strap. And this is going to go right into the center of the thighs. Okay, so I just put the loop in. Take your time. Whatever, there's my loop. I'm going to adjust it as I get in. I'm kind of just sit on the bolster. I'm thinking, should I put, maybe I'll just measure it first. So before I belt the legs, I'm just going to go, okay, how's this, Joe? Not great. Okay, I know my bolster needs to come up, and you want to have your bolster maybe just underneath the floating ribs so that you feel your shoulders and the head is on the floor. Okay, so this is better. If not, you just lift your hips, maybe slide that bolster, just kind of feel. If the bolster is not good for you, just create a smaller bolster with the blanket. Okay, now I'm just going to step into the strap. It doesn't need to be super tight. It's just there to kind of keep the legs together. So I'll just put it at the center of the thigh. That's it. And then the legs go out. I'm going to cover myself too, but I'll just come in. You can see the chest is lifted. Okay, I'll say it again. If it's too much for your back, you just move that bolster or your blanket. Just kind of feel. Knowing also that it takes the body a few moments to adjust to the shape. So I'm just going to put my blanket over top now. Hopefully you saw all that. So your heels are resting, your feet are supported. They're like in line with the legs. If that feels no good, you can always bend your knees. Feet on either side of the bolster, and the knees would come together. If you need to do that, otherwise, here we are. We're going to rest here. Okay, I'm just turning my heels out a little bit more so the legs stay a little bit perpendicular. That's not a necessity. Might do that. Okay, now I'm going to press the back of the head into the floor. Just bring the shoulder blades a little closer together. Support the upper chest. Okay, I just feel the magic coming in now. Being with your breath. This idea of releasing to the supports. A little bit of discomfort will hopefully start to just find its comfort. So just be with your discomfort for a few moments if you need to, and by all means, change whatever needs to be changed. Okay. Now feeling where your breath is filling, maybe up into the eyes of the chest. We explored a little bit last week. Right to the very top of the clavicles, you can feel your breath opening. And if you feel that, maybe now you send the exhale breath to the back of the shoulders, even feeling it coming down the arms into your wings. And sending your inner gaze, letting the eyes drop as they rest. Just here for another 2 or 3 breaths. I'm not going to come out completely. Change it just slightly. Okay, so we'll start by just bending the knees and place your feet either side of your bolster. I'm just going to slip my blanket off, but you might not need to do that. Okay, and then feel where you are. I'm going to bring the knees into the chest. You can slide your strap off here. And then wiggle yourself back a little bit so that the bolster is almost like helping you bring the knees into the chest. Explore it. We did this in class the other day, I think, with the bolster underneath. You can move the bolster away. Just find like this little bit of child's pose or and make it your own. And you can put your hands on in front of your thighs. But if you feel like, oh, I can take my legs over my head a little bit here, maybe the arms are on the floor, and just kind of let the legs be heavy. If you straighten them or if they're bent, just for this moment. If you want to take your arms over your head, you can move there. I'm just really letting the legs drop their weight. Good. Take one more breath here. Sigh it out. And release. And then let the release like nice and slow, like we did at the very beginning with our little bridge. Bring the feet down. Once you have your feet down, lift your hips and just take the bolster, slide it down so you're not on it at all. And you might be able to use your feet to just turn it so that now we can move into a supported Shavasana. You might have to come up. I'm going to try and do it without coming up so that the bolster will now go underneath the calves. And then I have the blocks here. How perfect is that? And your other, if you had a blanket to cover you, throw that in. You are tucking yourself in. As you rest here into this great rest. When you were little, you went down for a nap, probably twice a day. As we get older, maybe we come back to that. But right now, feel yourself being held and nourished, supported, loved. Every breath an opportunity to just nourish what needs to be nourished, release what needs to be released. Shavasana. Giving yourself permission to drop into deepest place of relaxation, softening and receiving. Staying here, this is the place you need to be for right now. It's just beginning to gently move your fingers, your toes, your ankles, your wrists. Maybe your head will turn side to side a few times. And continuing on, stretching your arms over your head, bending your knees and resting with your feet on the bolster, on the floor for a breath or two. Bringing the knees into your chest, rocking side to side. It's like you're just gently being rocked. Coming to rest on your side for a few moments in the fetal position. After a few moments here, you'll know it's time. Bring yourself up to sitting. And you can do that without even opening your eyes. Just embracing this opportunity of being in your own sacred, loving energy. Even this feeling that you are held and supported in something bigger than yourself, but it's here. And I love this idea that you are your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your great-great-grandparents' greatest dream. If they could see how you're living in your life, they would just be so tickled. So whenever you're ready, friends, bringing your hands together at your heart and bowing your chin and honoring all that is. And as you inhale, lengthen with your chin, open your eyes. And we'll seal this practice with our May We Be Blessed mantra. And when inhale. May we be blessed with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be healthy and may we be happy. Inhale for Om. And take a full breath in. Breathe it into your hands. With your sacred breath, bow your chin, honor love, compassion, kindness, and presence. Lift your chin and offer whatever you need, you offer it. And then we'll send it out into the world, out to our loved ones, wherever they may be. Yes, so much love. Thank you so much for being here today. Yeah, so much love. Thank you. So much love and gratitude from my heart. Thank you. Have a great rest of this beautiful day, friends, and we'll see you very soon.